Good morning. Good morning to all of you. Good morning to Douglas. This is our weekly walking seminar. Our friend Kevin Thomas Morgan is still in the hospital. He's recovering from his open heart surgery. Woo! He had so many collaterals, just keeping his heart going, Douglas. It was incredible.
Yeah.
And a wire, there was literally no artery in the right coronary for a wire to get through. So they did have to bypass, but doctors, Douglas, they said they were really impressed with how many collaterals his workout regimen got him. So it gives us a lot of hope, every one of us, that our collaterals, we got to keep walking, walk, 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 grow those collaterals, not only in our legs, but also our hearts.
Think about those three words: walk, walk, walk. What they really do mean to us in building collaterals. And it's a reminder everybody with P.A.D. needs to have our hearts checked and be
Mm,
aware of that and be conscious of that so that because we know there's correlation now. We know that I don't know the percentage number, but you probably do. There's a large part of people with PAD who also suffer from heart disease, one type or another. So it's a reminder for all of us. Let's have our hearts checked. Get a
it's a good
cardiologist.
month to do it.
Yeah, have our hearts checked so we'll know.
It is American
Preventative
Heart Month,
maintenance.
so definitely.
So yeah, I mean, wouldn't you? I'd rather know that I'm good
Yeah.
before something happens. I'd hate to wait to have a heart attack or a stroke or fall out somewhere and then realize, uh-oh, I have some heart problems. So get out, get
Yeah.
checked. It's called preventative maintenance.
Don't make excuses, right? Don't make excuses for your fatigue. Don't make excuses for any sort of heartburn type of symptom. Go to the doctor and say, I'm at risk of heart attack. I have PAD. 3 in 5 people who suffer a heart attack have PAD.
So every 3,000 miles, I change the oil in my truck. I change the oil
Oh, I
before the
love this.
light comes
Yes.
on. Before the light
Yep.
comes on. Why wait till the light comes on to realize you need to do something?
Yep. Exactly. And I know we talked last week a little bit about a couple of the cases that were just really sad that you do need to trust your symptoms. And when you get into your doctor, do not just, hey, bro, I'm good. I'm good. Hey, says, I'm good. Yeah, feeling fine. Never better. No, you need to be honest. And the question you need to ask yourself is, are you walking at the same pace for the same distance as you were a year ago? Am I walking at the same pace and the same distance as a year ago? If not, that is a sign. Talk to your doctor. Do not blame it on old age. Say, hey, doc, I'm not walking as fast or as far as I used to. I don't know why. Maybe it was fatigue. Maybe I was short of breath at some point. Try picking up the pace and see if you can get a little bit, if you were just being lazy, if you want to try it and say, maybe I was just tired, maybe I was just lazy, whatever it is, well, try picking up the pace. If you can't pick
How
up the
often do
pace
you
without
hear
running
that?
short of breath, you should do it probably frequently. I mean, I would do it regularly.
How
But
often do
think
you
about
hear that?
if how often do I hear that? Oh my
Yeah, because
gosh, all the time.
how often, all those that are listening to us now, how often do we say, well, I'm getting old. I pulled a muscle. I worked too hard, or I'm tired, or we say all these things to ourselves. And
Yeah.
I said them all until I fell in the yard mowing the yard one day. And then it was like, why did I have to wait for that light, the check engine light to come on to
Yeah.
say I need to have myself checked?
And why did it take actually going to a procedure for your legs for them to tell you, red flag, we're stopping everything down. You're going to the hospital and getting your heart checked.
Yeah, I was headed into a procedure and I had a stroke going into a procedure, and then I found out I have heart issues and ended up with open heart surgery. So it's like
Yeah.
I, and that's why we understand how important it is to get second opinions today and be on
Yeah.
top of, and don't wait till, yeah, I mean, it isn't really that simple. Don't wait till the check engine light comes on before I become my best advocate today.
I think that's important, but also don't ignore the check engine light at all. So if it does come on, then you need to get in and get checked. I see we have Cindy and we have Marina here. Cindy, are you on your treadmill?
Good morning. I am. I don't have it on right now, but I saw that you weren't moving at all. So I'm like, yeah, I'll just stand here today.
Oh, we have company. No, we have company. So I gave up my studios. We have a really good friend, very special friend who's here.
Oh, lovely.
And I think he's 94, 95, and he is gives me so much hope that we all have long lives ahead of us. We just keep going, keep walking, keep grooving, and we can all live into our 90s. So it's really encouraging. So I'm sitting in my dad's office today and a little different. There's no treadmill in here. I'm sitting here though, curling my toes like Kevin taught us to do. I'm clawing at the bottom of my thing. So,
How
and
is
I don't know if
Kevin
you could hear
doing?
my dad in the background. What? What did you say?
I'm gonna start breakfast.
Did I lose?
Someone asked how Bill was doing.
Are you with us, Cindy?
Lost sound. I think my AirPods died out. How is Kevin doing?
How is Kevin doing? So Kevin had sent me a really cute picture of him with his partner and one of the nurses. And as you know, his partner Sue is a rehab specialist for cardio. So I think he's in really good hands. He showed me a picture of his zipper. So he's part of the zipper club now with open heart surgery. It looked great. He had it done at UNC and they just did a beautiful job sewing him back up. He was very proud of the zipper because it was so clean and so minimal. And I'm hoping he'll be back very soon. He also sent me a picture of all of his dogs. As you know, he's a retired veterinarian and he loves his animals. So his partner Sue got a picture of all the dogs looking up at the camera, and it's so cute.
I
So
can
he
hear
seems to
her.
be good.
I can hear her now looking at him going, give me one more. Give me one more. Give me one more.
Give me one more. Yep.
Carl has
I
joined
agree.
us. Good morning, Carl.
Hi, Carl.
But
Hello.
but as a member of the Zipper
How's
Club,
it going?
that's pretty cool. That it did look. I saw a picture of it. It did look pretty good. They did do a good job putting him back together.
Yeah. How
And
you
that's
doing,
why
Carl? You're not out walking today?
I just got back. That's why I'm a little bit late. It's interesting how physical when things are physical like exercise or walking or whatever. I had a really low level, not very comfortable walk today. But other days, I can kind of get out there and knock it out. So I guess just to tell people, don't be discouraged if it doesn't feel right. There's be another chance, another day.
Yeah.
how often does Kevin talk about that? We need to walk even when we don't feel it,
That's
because
right.
that's when we're still building those collaterals. Because if we
Yeah.
were to stop every time I didn't feel good, I wouldn't walk a lot. And am I building collaterals by doing that? No way. So I have to walk even when I'm tired, I'm angry, I'm stressful, or I don't feel quite right today. No, get up, take that
Well,
next step.
especially if you're angry and you're stressed, right? Even especially because that's a really great stress reliever to get out and move and walk and get some different scenery is always good to calm down those nerves. And we have Kimmy joining us. Wow, we have a great crew. We haven't even heard from Marina yet. Hi, Marina.
Good morning. Good morning, everybody.
How are
All
you
good.
doing?
I'm with Carl today. It's a
Oh,
tough day. I've had actually a really tough month, and I was getting, in December, I kind of felt I plateaued a little bit and just wasn't able to move forward. And all month long, I've actually been digressing. I think, I can walk less and less. And then this week I said, tough. Too bad. Just, okay, so you're where you are 2 months ago, get back on it. And because my walking is getting lower and my times are lower and lower, but it's all how I feel in my head, because I do notice when I walk or when I exercise, I feel much better. My legs feel much better. They're not as tight. They're, I can do more. So I'm just trying to stay on that positive bandwagon right now.
And isn't that the plateau of P.A.D. in our walking? How some days we actually do feel. I'm walking up here. I'm climbing Mount St. Helens tomorrow, and some days I'm not going to the mailbox.
Are you
So
serious?
it is.
You're walking Mount St. Helens?
Well, that I exaggerated a little bit there. So that was a little bit of an exaggeration, but you know what I mean. Some days we do feel it, and some days we don't.
Right.
That's the roller coaster ride of having our disease.
Yeah.
And what you said also was, when we get out and do that, how does it affect us mentally in our spiritual and all of that when we're able to actually do that, even though we can't, maybe today we can't go as far or as
Yeah.
fast. I still can sit down and go later and go, I got up and I walked. I got up and I walked.
Yep.
Right, Carl?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean that, I sometimes I can do, what do we call it? The Kevin toe lift
Yeah.
when I'm walking, and it smooths things out. It gets me rolling from my heel to my ball of my foot and off my foot. And it actually is amazing how it just feels like all of a sudden my joints are lubricated. Today I felt like the Tin Man before the oil can got to him.
Yeah.
It just felt, and kind of like everything felt kind of janky and scratchy. I don't know. But I did
I
it.
love the
It was
description.
nice out, and yeah, I got rained on, of course, without rain gear.
Yeah, it's raining here too. So we're both on the West Coast, and that storm has been going all night. It's been a good one.
Mm.
I was gonna, can anybody hear me? It's Marilyn.
Hi,
Yes.
Yes.
Marilyn.
Hello.
I was gonna say, well, I'm wintering in Arizona. We went to Death Valley for 3 days. Just got back late
Yeah.
last night, and that really lifted my spirit, because man, have I been depressed since December over all of this. So that helps. That helped too. Just seeing some different scenery and doing something
Yeah.
different to get away from it. So that was it's a spirit boost. Kim, I wanted to ask you a question, Kim.
Sure.
Does Pat always progress? Everybody, Pat is progressive. Does it always progress?
You can stall progression, and we have had proof that you can stall progression. You can really slow progression. 90% of people never need a procedure ever.
Oh, okay. All right.
So if you're in that intermittent claudicant phase, there's a chance that you may never need a procedure if you just stay active.
Okay. I've been
You can
reading.
inadvertently you can inadvertently induce advanced stage PAD and have what I would consider, this is probably no clinical or evidence-based term, but I would call it an artificial induction of advanced stage PAD, known as critical limb ischemia, if you do have a premature procedure and
Oh,
that stent gets blocked up because maybe, let's say you had a 70% blockage in your leg, 70 to 80% blockage in your thigh, let's say. And the doctor went right in and started doing procedures and put a stent in. Instead of just the body's natural progression, you're going to accelerate the process by adding the body's healing response because there's a stent in there. There was additional trauma to that vessel, and it's going to set in the fats, the cholesterol, and everything. It's going to build up scar tissue in that stent. And so when that stent goes down, you may end up with an artificial induction of advanced stage P.A.D, which is critical limb ischemia, which you weren't in at all prior to having the procedure. Does that make sense? The whole goal of having a procedure is if you're in lifestyle limiting P.A.D and you've tried walking and you've tried pushing through, and or you have rest pain that wakes you up at night and or a wound that's not healing, you need just a little bit more blood flow so that you can start walking to build those collateral vessels so that when that stent goes down, you will have grown a bunch of collateral vessels, enough collateral vessels that you won't need to worry about the stent being blocked up.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
I've been reading.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been doing lots of reading. One thing I wanted to mention that I was reading too that others may or may not know. I was, as you know, I don't want to make this all about me. It's an hour for everybody. But as you know, in December, both of my legs suddenly just got worse after a 3-day car trip. When I pressed on my calves, they hurt. And I thought, well, that's weird. I mean, I had a little bit of that, but not to this extent. Or standing on my toes, my calves would hurt much more than did. My calves felt tight. It's a little bit better now. But I had just started ezetimibe 6 months before. And I've also been on
Greta.
80 milligrams of avoralstatin for 7 years.
Okay.
And what it says is, as your PA.D gets a little worse, your muscles can't compromise for these medications, and it actually can give you symptoms even after you've been on them for a while.
Oh, wow.
And same with ezetimibe, it lowers the threshold for muscle damage from a statin or from the ezetimibe. So I thought that was
What
interesting.
did you took a page right out of Kevin Thomas Morgan's playbook. When Kevin's not here, someone had to represent. I'm surprised it's you, Marilyn, my peanut gallery for Kevin.
Yeah.
You're preaching to his choir. So there is a lot of research that's out there. Did you say you're on the atorvastatin?
Yeah, 80 milligrams. And people are
Okay,
saying, well, no,
so
after you've been on it that
no
long,
one,
it can't affect you. But
I
it
would
can.
definitely have a conversation with your doctor because that one's notorious.
Yeah.
We have, if you look in the group under that, how many people are reporting. I almost feel like I need to go into the group and I need to tally how many people post on a weekly basis about atorvastatin at 80 milligrams and the muscle cramps. So there are so many other options out there for you. Usually, if a patient progresses to being on Repatha, which is not considered a traditional statin, it works differently. That one seems to have a great impact without the side effects. So it's worth definitely talking to your doctor about trying something else or reducing that dosage, finding out, do
Yeah.
I need that dosage? We have people that are just on 20 milligrams of atorvastatin. They do fine. They have reported on all of these posts where other people are saying they're on 80. The people that are on 20 are like, we don't seem to have a problem. But you need to have that discussion with your healthcare provider. I think
Yeah.
Marina is smiling back there because Marina decided to turn the page and continue the chapter with Kevin Morgan and his plight to get everybody off statins. and Marina was having the same problem with hers. Marina, were you on 80 milligrams?
I was. Yep.
How long were you on it, Maria?
I
Before
stopped
you had
it.
to. How long
I'm
were you on it though? Like the pushback I'm getting is, well, it's been 7 years and you don't get those side effects after that labor time. That's the pushback that I'm getting.
I've been on it for years, Marilyn, and in the last few years, I thought the pain I was having was because of P.A.D. Because also I can't touch my calf. My calf is so painful, and
Oh.
getting off the it feels my calves feel like they're bruised all the time. I mean, even certain pants hurt, swimming hurts. Getting off the atorvastatin did help a little bit, but that was not, the cure for that, that's for sure. But it did help a little bit. I definitely had less aches. So I was happy.
How long have you been off of it?
I've been off of it since November.
Can you tell any difference other than that? Or is it just that minute of a difference, or is it a big difference?
No, I notice a difference in pain, not only in my legs, in my shoulders. I had aches and pains everywhere, and that has gone away. So I'm not going back on it. That's for sure.
Maria, how long were you on them?
About 4 years.
Okay. Thank you very much. I won't take up any more of the time.
Oh, that's fine.
No, you're fine. You're fine, Marilyn. And Marina, it was when you started it, was it a progression or did it suddenly happen, or was it a progression to get there? And then, like you said, like Kim was saying, you started to understand it better and realize that there was options.
Right, exactly. I mean, I think it was very progressive. It was at first I didn't notice anything, and then with P.A.D, when I was diagnosed a year and a half ago, that's what I thought my pain was because of P.A.D. So when in discussions with Kevin, when he was saying, atorvastatin is known for that, I said, I'm going to try getting off of it. And I definitely saw improvement. There's no doubt, to the point that I'm not going back on it, as long as my cholesterol stays good.
Really, the only pain I have, like I said, when I stand on my toes or I press on my calves, that's the bothersome thing, or my calves feel tight, which I never had before December 23rd after my 3-day trip.
Right.
So,
I have that
anyway.
every day.
I'm sorry that you do.
My legs are tight.
Oh dear.
And bruised.
So
It feels like my legs are bruised. That, my calves, I just to touch them hurts. So as my kids say, well, don't touch them.
leave them alone.
I've literally just been in tears, and I've got to get a grip on myself. Like Kevin says, grid your loins and keep moving. But I walk every damn day. I'm on a very strict diet. My cholesterols have been awesome. I do have an elevated glycoprotein small a, which is genetic. Can't do anything about that. I don't know what else I can do. It's like you're doing everything, and you just want it. It's just hard to take.
Yeah.
You think you're doing everything. It's just not.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, you are doing everything you can right now with where you are. So don't shortchange yourself on that. If you got up this morning and took a step, you did what you could today. We're going to have those days. So think about this. Oh crap! Think about this. Every time, look, Cindy's taking the steps for all of us this morning. she's on her treadmill now, so she's out there doing the walking. But we have to. I think that's something we forget a lot in this disease. I sometimes I go through this. I feel like I have to walk Mount Kilimanjaro today to feel like I made a difference, and I don't. Some days, if I walk to the mailbox, that day is good enough at that moment because that's where I am. And as long as I got up and walked that one step, well, then I made progress. So we don't sell yourself short if you don't feel like today you did what you did yesterday.
Thanks, Doug. Doug, you've been one of my huge inspirations, and I would love to meet your dog, Stella. Every time I see you walking your dog, I thought, I want to meet that dog too. Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah, 2:30 this morning, she woke me up and she had the end of her leash. And it was like, hey, excuse me, but you realize it's 2:30 in the morning, Stella, but I guess you wanted to go for a walk. So guess what? At 2:30 this morning, I put my shoes on and we went for a walk.
I had to
Thank
do
you.
that this morning too, Douglas, actually um with Chardonnay, the little one, the youngest one.
Really?
At literally, I think it was like midnight or 1 o'clock this morning. She was panting and panting and panting, and she wanted to go outside in the rain. She wanted to go walk around in the rain at 1 o'clock in the morning. Okay, gotta
It's
do my
funny,
business.
Kim, when you said I had the same thing with Chardonnay.
And my
I don't know if that's the same thing if you're having too much wine.
I know.
It is Chardonnay, the dog. They're all named after beverages. We have Tito, we have Bailey, we have Chardonnay.
Oh my
My
God.
parents always thought that the names of beverages were always elegant. And
Yeah.
so
And I
we've
have met them
always had
all.
that. And Douglas has met them all. And you walk 22 minutes more if you have a dog. There is a study that shows that. And this is why, even in the middle of the night, you got to get out and walk the dog.
And I think that's the importance, like Marilyn, I think that's the importance of realizing every step we take for ourselves is an improvement. And eating better and stop smoking and doing all the things we're supposed to do makes us the best advocates for ourselves. And we have to, that's okay. Some days you're going to be, Carl, and we talked about that. Look at where Mike's joined us. Look at where he was when he started and where he is now. But Mike says he still has good days and bad days too. So, isn't that right, Mike?
Yep, he says, yep, he gave us a thumbs up. I
Yes,
think he's in the car.
yeah.
There he is.
I am driving. Yeah, sorry, I've just been out for dinner with a friend, an old colleague. Yeah, when I first got diagnosed, like everybody knows, I was really down. I didn't even want to move off the couch. It took me a few months to wrap my head around everything that was going on. But now, a year later, it's been a year now since I was diagnosed. It's the 11th today, so on Friday it's a year since I gave up smoking. Since I
Oh,
had my
good
last
for
cigarette.
you.
So
Yeah.
that's 12 months now.
Good job,
Changed
Mike.
changed everything about my life and stuff. Okay. And yeah, I feel a little bit better about my life now than I did like 12 months ago. Didn't want to get off the couch, didn't want to move. But I exercise every day now, changed my full diet. Got to keep going, you got to do it. And I
Yeah.
do have my down days still. I was even thinking about it yesterday. I was having a really bad day yesterday, but you know, one step in front of the other, and you've just got to keep going. So
It does fluctuate, doesn't it? And I think Kevin did say at one point that there are days you just have to give yourself a break.
yeah,
And you have to say, you know what? I have been pushing it. I have been pushing it. And you know what? I'm allowed. And maybe on those days that you take a break, maybe do some of the P.A.D. 100s. If you go to his YouTube channel, which is the @ Fit Old Dog, he has some great exercises that you can do while you're just laying in bed. Do the P.A.D. 100, flex and point. You can, grab the sheets with your toes and pick up the sheets
How
with your
easy is
toes.
that? How easy is that, Kim?
Yep.
Look, y'all look. There's my shoe. I took my shoe off. How easy is that? I'm gonna take my soul off. I'm gonna take.
I love
Look,
you, Douglas. So we get to
how
see his
easy is
feet.
this? Y'all ready? How
Nice,
easy is this?
nice,
I'm
nice feet,
sitting.
nice feet,
I'm
nice feet, Douglas.
I'm sitting
Oh, good,
here.
Marilyn. See,
So
you're back to the peanut gallery. I love it.
so imagine watching TV. You're sitting down on the couch for an hour. Usually
Okay,
we
we can
just
see
sit
your
there and do.
workbench.
Oh, let's see.
And now we see you. Oh, there's your foot. Oh, look at that. Oh, Douglas, you've
All
gotten really
right.
good at that. Holy cow. I was trying to do it the other day and I was even struggling. Now I really am going to practice because look at that. That's really, really good. The first thing to go are your toes. And if you have collaterals you've built in your feet, I mean, look
Mm.
how huge that is. And how easy it is that he's just able to do that. So I think that's brilliant. I mean, how many of us can actually, take the time to do this? Put a towel on the floor, pick up the sheets in your bed. There are people that will do this in the hospital bed, and they'll just sit there and they'll bunch up the sheet, and they'll just pick up the sheet, drop it, pick up the sheet and drop it. Even if you can't actually physically pick it up first, just go through the motions. Just curl your toes and bring them up. Curl your toes and bring them up. Spread them out, bring them in.
I couldn't do it at first,
Kim,
but I can now.
when you're,
College.
sorry.
What's that, Marilyn?
Sorry, you know what? I'm sorry. I can never tell when someone's finished. You don't know when you can speak, and then I'm always interrupting someone, but I don't know when.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
Oh, you know, the
Let's
key is
finish.
just pretend it's a press conference and just keep talking until you override the other person.
So when we were driving out to Death Valley, it was about a 4-hour drive, I guess, from where we are. I put my seat right back, and I wasn't driving, and I put my feet up on the dash, and I did a P.A.D 100 probably every hour.
Good for you.
So it worked.
See how easy it is?
Anyway.
I love it.
Yeah.
And that,
I want to
you
say
know,
hello to Kimmy. We haven't seen Kimmy.
Yeah.
Hi, Kimmy. We're going to make Kimmy unmute and talk to us. Hi, Kimmy.
Hi.
How are you doing? You look
I'm
like you're kicking back today.
I'm wiggling my feet as we talk because they tingle.
I love that
Where
you're
was
doing
your
that.
partner?
And you know what?
Your partner was with you a minute ago. We wanted to see her or him.
Oh, I have two. She's over there. But I'm wiggling my toes right now because all I got right now is tingling with these stents being blocked.
Oh, no. Are you getting out and walking? You can grow the collateral vessels. Where are your stents blocked? In your thigh?
No, I have them in the stomach. In that.
Oh, wait. And those are blocked?
It's in
Your
it's in the,
iliacs.
yes, that's it. I have 5. I have 3 on the left and 2 on the right, and they say they're all blocked.
Okay, you and I need to have a conversation.
I have to go on the 18th for them to do the dye test to see if I'm blocked anywhere else.
Okay, well, I'm glad they're doing a thorough investigation. I think that's really important. You do want to make sure because I'm just wondering, that's not a typical place that stents get blocked. They're very big vessels. Every doctor that treats P.A.D knows how to do it. Are you a clotter? Did you have they checked for any sort of clotting disorder, AFib, valvular issues, aortic aneurysm, thoracic or abdominal?
I don't know anything.
Okay. So you should call the Leg Saver hotline once we're done here, and let's get on a call, and I'm going to write some questions for you because there are 2 reasons that we have seen. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a clinician. I can only tell you what I have observed since 2016 with patients calling and reporting, what's gone down and what hasn't. And there are 2 things that always bubble up to the top every single time I've seen that. It's either there is some sort of clotting issue that has not been resolved prior to the procedure or post-procedure, and that needs, the clotting issue needs to be taken care of. You need to find the source of the clots. But there could be another reason, which is maybe those stents that were placed were too small for the vessel. And we see this with doctors that don't use an additional imaging device known as IVUS or intravascular ultrasound. Many of the advanced doctors will tell you that it's critical for them to go in with IVUS to make sure, in the iliacs especially, that they don't undersize those stents. And if they undersize those stents, that can lead to a very quick restenosis in those areas because those areas are typically really durable. They're big vessels, those are big stents, and a lot of blood they can get to go through there with a procedure, right? And we don't see those. They last for years. in most of our patients, especially, I have a patient that's had them for 15 years already. And she just
Yeah.
mitigated her risk factors. She takes her meds. She walks as many days a week as she can, and she eats right. So
I don't
I
know
would,
what, I have a, I have a treadmill walking pad that I was using. I don't know what went wrong.
okay. So
I
is
didn't,
this the same doctor that performed the procedure before? Is this a different one?
I was in Michigan and I had it done in Grand Rapids back in 2018, 19, and now it's this. And I had moved to Indiana, which I'm close to Louisville. So now I see a doctor at Baptist Health in New Albany, Indiana.
Oh, so you're seeing a different doctor.
It's a different doctor altogether.
Okay. So they are going to tell you the truth. If the stents were that, because if they go in for the CT, they would be able to know if those stents were undersized.
They didn't say it. They haven't said anything to me. They didn't even tell me that they were watching a blocked one. And they're also watching an aneurysm in there or something. That's very,
Okay.
very, they say.
Okay. So we do have two other doctors that are in Louisville. If you're up for another opinion that you could get something a little bit quicker from. So I'm happy to share. And then you can weigh your options and feel what's right for you. But it sounds like you might just need a couple of, you might need someone to just sit down and go, okay, here, 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 and here. Even if you decide not to go with a different doctor, you might just get the full story from that doctor so you can go back to maybe the first one, in Louisville. You're very confident. You like them, you trust them, you want to, they have advanced skills, but they're just not very forthcoming with the conversation. Some just aren't. Um, but at least we can get you more information so you can get your questions answered.
Okay.
Does that work?
Kim, does every doctor understand IVAs, or is it just, do they all have the capability of doing that, or is it just some of them do it, some of them don't?
There's a problem. There are a lot of insurance companies that say that there's not enough evidence that IVUS makes a difference. But Dr. Eric Zimsky, who is a world-renowned researcher for P.A.D, Harvard, and he's with Beth Israel in Boston. I mean, just world-renowned, very methodical in his research. He has proven over and over and over and over, and did I mention over again, that there is a difference for IVUS. The problem is it is an additional cost, number one. And number two is in some countries, they don't use it. And if they don't use it in some countries because they like to justify it's not needed and they don't need to spend extra money, they will tell you how perfect they are in eyeing. They'll say, I can eye the size of the vessel, and I'm right most of the time. I'm right most of the time. So it doesn't justify using this for the outliers. So, if there's a situation like Kimmy, well, Kimmy doesn't like to be considered an outlier. She wants people to do the right thing. I mean, if you do the wrong thing with these stents and you size them wrong in the aorta and in the iliacs, if you size them wrong, the next step is, Douglas, what you went through, a massive aortobifemoral bypass.
Yep.
Huge procedure, very risky. If it goes well, it's great. It'll last you 20 to 30 years, but
Can I ask
that's
where
a massive procedure.
that? I'm very scared of that. Where do they get the part for that?
Where do they
I,
get what part?
For that bypass? Do they take them out of your arms?
They'll usually, they may take them out of your legs, but I think they use grafts. They use, typically that I've seen, they use, I think they use, I'm gonna have to look that up. I
I
don't even
have
know.
I have a
Do
pig.
you have
What I
natural ones?
call a
Oh, yeah.
pig. I have a pig. Mine is not natural.
My dad
And
had the put in his heart.
yeah,
Yeah. And my
so
ex-husband.
and I think that's what, that for me, it was that same thing. they didn't do the IVUS. They went straight to the bypass because the IVUS was money. But at the same time, mine failed within 6 months. And then they had to do, mine failed. Mine didn't last 6 months and it completely failed. And then they had to do an axial bifemoral bypass. So one thing led to another. And if they had done, and that's where I know now, what I know now, if I knew then, I would have said, no, timeout. We're not going here. I'm going to another doctor.
Yeah. And
So,
you
yeah.
may be able, if they catch it soon, they may be able to just clean that out. The thing is that I'm a little, I like that they're being thorough. They probably, because, you know, maybe there's issues with flow below. So that could be also why. Sorry, there are three reasons then, because, and I just failed to share the third reason why it could. So one, you could have a clotting disorder. Number two is they ended up not using advanced imagery, and they undersized the stents. But there is a third. So if they didn't check the flow below that, and let's say your thighs were blocked, so they fixed the faucet and there was nowhere for the blood to go, it's just going to back right up. So that is good that they're double checking, below to say, hey, we're not just going to check there. Well, let's check and make sure that if we fix the faucet, that there's some place for the blood to go clear to the toes. And we have had that happen. We've had it where the doctor will, let's say, add a stent in there in the iliac, and then there's literally maybe one vessel runoff below the knee into the foot. And it's just the faucet being turned on just was too much.
Well, the reason I ended up with 5 stents was I told them I have RLS also, and my body jumps when I sleep. And they said, oh, no, that will affect you when we put you under. They came out and told my boyfriend that my body jumped and he snagged an artery, so he had to put an extra stent in because it snagged my artery because my body jumped. So,
and that can come a lot of times. Have you in your lower back? It can cause spasms. So if you're on your back for a long period of time, that can trigger those types of spasms as well. So I don't know if you've ever had your back checked. The RLS, sometimes I look at it as a little bit of a cop out. They just diagnose it and they don't get to the source, because getting to the source might mean, a few extra tests that cost money. So it's worth double checking to see if that's an issue.
Because it gets so bad at night that it's horrible. My dad had it, and
Yeah, check for degenerative disc disease or something like that as well. So it's worth checking.
So, Kim,
Kim,
the
can I
thought
ask you
is,
something?
yeah, go ahead, Marilyn.
Kim, you were talking about IVUS. That you don't use a contrast media with that, correct?
IVUS, you do need, they pump contrast fluid into your vessels before they do IVUS to get a picture of the lay of the land. And then they go in with a wire and they thread the IVUS catheter over the wire and go in, and it's a 360 image. It uses audio waves. So at that point, no, you don't need any contrast fluid during that aspect of the procedure or the diagnostic. It's literally IVUS catheter over a wire, and it goes in and it uses audio waves to determine the type of plaque and the size of the vessel.
Okay, the reason I'm asking is because I'm at the lower end of normal in my kidney function, so I'm very leery about contrast media. So I get a little freaked out too, thinking, well, they need to take a
Okay,
look.
so
What's going to happen
Marilyn,
to my
there
kidney?
are other options. It's really good that you bring that point up, because there are other options that can reduce the amount of contrast fluid. And there are ways in which they can reduce contrast fluid. I think I posted in the group, PADsupportgroup.org. I'll have to look for it. I might have put it under featured, or it might have been a comment to a post about it. I'll have to go just look up maybe contrast or something in the search tool in the group, and I'll do the same today. But there are quite a few other options available. There's CO2 that can be used. Sometimes they do need a little bit of contrast fluid, but I've seen doctors actually go in with no contrast fluid. They've used CO2, a combination of intravascular ultrasound and extravascular, like the external ultrasound, EVIS, to, from the outside and the inside. In fact, we had a recent episode of our P.A.D. test breakdown where my co-host, who's an RVT, she's world renowned, Denise Levy, she showed in this episode that we did what it looks like from the outside, with her being an ultrasound tech. And she put the ultrasound on the outside of the skin and how vivid the arteries were beneath and how you could still see the catheter being threaded through. So it's amazing what these doctors can do. And you can ask them about that and say, is it possible that you can rely more on CO2, intravascular ultrasound, and EVIS?
Right. Well, thank you, Kim.
You're
I'll try and
welcome.
find what you were talking about. Thank you.
That,
Did you
that- to
say
me, that,
insurance?
go ahead.
Did you say insurances don't want to cover this though?
In America, there are a lot of insurance that we get pushback right now. We just had a situation where there was a Medicare biller that was not paying doctors who were performing leg saving procedures in outpatient facilities. And through that process, we discovered that because they had new CPT codes and they weren't registered, and there was a technical glitch. And through that experience, some of the people were actually reporting that even though IVIS has been approved to have a CPT code and get paid for by Medicare, that one of the other billers, Novartis, I think it was, I think that's the one, I forget what it was called. Anyway, was not honoring that CPT code for billing for IVIS. And so I don't know what came of that. I know that right now, as we speak, right now on Capitol Hill, we're going on, gosh, they're well into the P.A.D. caucus in Congress. And we have a Dr. Bob Tahara, and he is there and he's fighting insurance companies. He's telling the Congress what's happening with Medicare and Medicare Advantage plans, where they're not covering critical tools and techniques for limb salvage. And that includes intravascular ultrasound. And they can't hide behind, saying there's not enough evidence, when the evidence is there, and they're simply being selective as to what evidence only supports saving them money. And that's unacceptable, especially when they're getting money from taxpayers to be able to take care of our own.
The only reason I ask is because I've never been questioned about my testing when I have it done. And I'm on Medicaid and Indiana Health. I just got some questions about my test that I just had done, and I've never had that before.
Oh, get
it's
me
like
on
now
the phone. I would love that.
that I had done on my stents, they're questioning it.
So the insurance company is.
The
And
Indiana
the
Health
insurance company
yeah.
is coming. Okay. Oh, put me on the phone. I will do a joint call with you.
It doesn't say that it's a bill yet, but they're questioning, did I have these done? Why are they charging them this? And I've never had them send me something like that.
Do your legs wake you up at night?
Yes.
Perfect. You tell them, because I have rest pain that is waking me out of a sound sleep. Period. Period. I have rest pain that is waking me up out of a sound sleep.
Okay.
That is called critical limb ischemia, Indiana Health. Period.
Okay.
question answered. And if you need me to put it in writing for you, happy to. If you need me to get on the phone and advocate for you, been there, done that, and all success. They just need to be inspired.
All of those that have been on the phone with Kim and doctors need to understand, just put Kim on the phone, and I don't know, people get nervous. They start shaking. You can hear the nervousness on the other end of the phone. Their
Hi.
hands are shaking, and it's like, uh-oh,
No.
is that Kim McNicholas? It's like, yeah. It's like, all
Nicholas.
right, tell us how it's done.
No, it's just that I am very aware and I've immersed myself in Society for Vascular Surgery, American Heart Association, SCI, the new P.A.D management guidelines that were multi-society. I know what is protocol. I know what you should expect from these um, these doctors, and I know what you should expect from insurance. I know what should be covered. I know the evidence. I go to all these conferences where the evidence is presented. I'm up to date. And a lot of times, these insurance companies just need to be presented with the new information. They're very
But
selective sometimes.
you said something a minute ago that I found fascinating. You said sometimes doctors just think they can eyeball it. So if you
Yeah.
spend $1,000 on just say you spend $1,000, do the IBIS, that will give you the exact stent to put in. Then you don't have a problem down the road. I'm building my house. So if I don't measure the window twice before I cut, my window's not going to fit properly because I'm good at what I do, but I ain't that good. I cannot always tell a 16th of an inch from a 9/32.
I'm
So
going to tell
one,
our producer, Josh, remind me what time that was because I am literally going to pull that as a short because that is the best analogy I have ever heard to support the use of IVIS. That is brilliant. Thank you, Douglas. As a patient,
but it's
that is
true,
a
isn't
great
it?
analogy.
It's true, isn't it? If my doctors, yeah, if the insurance, yeah, it may cost more, but if they put the right stents in 6 months later, a year later, then I don't have to have a $50,000 surgery for them to go back and fix something they should have done right the first time.
Yeah. It's a really good point. $1,000 just to double check versus a $50,000 and life altering major surgery. Yeah, that's a really good point. Really
And if
good point. Well said, Douglas.
I
Point
can measure
taken.
my window twice, I like I say, I can measure my window twice before I cut it. Then when I put the window in, it goes in like it's supposed to. But if I can eyeball the 9/16 or 9/32 every now and then, but I'm not going to get it right every time. So now, if I get it wrong, well then I have to do this and that just to get the window, or jury rig something to get the window to fit. So, but this is my body, this is my leg. Why not take that time, that extra time to do that, so that I don't have to have an axial bifemoral bypass because they put the aorta bifemoral and they should have done something else to begin with.
Yeah. Mic drop. Mic drop.
And think about this. I wonder if we have. It reminds me of the young lady we have speaking at that conference and
Yeah.
what she's been
Don
through.
Marie.
Don Marie, what she's been through, and I just got a message from Thomas. He's on the way.
Yeah, we have our friend Thomas. So for those who don't know, we have our friend Thomas that Douglas and I have been in touch with. Douglas kindly volunteers his time to help with the P.A.D Leg Saver hotline, which you see the number right there in the corner of your screen. You can always call. But we have been fighting since yesterday with his insurance. So Kimmy, you are not alone because his insurance um, literally approved the procedure that he was going to have to save his leg a week ago or so. And then it was only good for a couple of days, but they had emergencies and things like that with the the doctor doing the procedure, and he had to put off the procedure until today. And now then the insurance company was like, well, now the pre-authorization isn't good for that. You have to reapply for pre-authorization again for this. So we didn't know what to do up until last night. His insurance portal still didn't show approval. I was on the phone with the doctor at 7 o'clock their time last night central, and coordinating to say, okay, well, this patient has rest pain. He cannot go another night. He is suffering. So we're going to send him through the emergency, but his insurance would not provide the ride because it was late at night. It was after hours. So we're working with Uber Health. There it is. Our producer, Josh. See, I mentioned it. Uber Health. We partnered with Uber Health, and we were able to coordinate a ride. We still pay for it, but coordinated a ride for him in the morning. And, Douglas has been checking in with him because he's on that same time zone to make sure that he got there and he is in with the doctor. But literally, um, after 8 o'clock that night, after we coordinated for the emergency room, the insurance came through at 8 o'clock last night, and the hospital called and said, okay, we can now schedule you officially for tomorrow morning. But thankfully, we still had the ride, because he couldn't get it through his insurance as it was too last minute. But it's just ridiculous. It's so ridiculous why they make it so hard. And Douglas, at one point I was saying, well, insurance companies, if you don't like the way a doctor is handling, the patients, well, then just don't cover that doctor, drop them from your coverage. But then what we did have was insurance companies dropping amazing doctors from their coverage simply because they didn't want doctors to treat below the knee because there wasn't enough evidence
We had
that
a
treating
program
vessels
a
below the
couple
knee.
weeks ago about that, didn't we, Kim? We had those people on, and I'm. This is. I, I cannot fathom this. I don't want a gentleman at my insurance company. I don't want a gynecologist telling my vascular surgeon not to do
On a
that procedure.
peer-to-peer. Yeah.
I want a vascular surgeon going over my things with my vascular surgeon. I don't want an ear, nose, and throat doctor telling my heart doctor you can't do that procedure because it's not important enough.
Doug, I'm just, you got me curious here. I'm concerned that you're seeing a gynecologist.
No, so what happens is that Marilyn? Did Marilyn
Yeah.
Marilyn, you better come every week. You are hilarious. Okay, so it's a good question. Douglas has been so immersed in all of this from the very beginning that he skipped a little step there. What we're talking about are these peer-to-peer. So what happens is with a lot of these insurance companies is they may deny a procedure because they don't think it's necessary. So then they go back, and these are automatic. These are just algorithms for the most part, creating these denials. So it forces the doctor to go back to the insurance company and request a peer-to-peer, meaning that it's doctor to doctor, that they have, typically it's supposed to be, where this doctor that's supervising the patient's care is talking to a doctor hired by the insurance company to argue for their own limitations of insurance, right? And a lot of times what we're finding is, and we've had a couple of cases over in Texas where it was a gynecologist that the
My
insurance company
God.
brought on to tell a vascular surgeon that
Oh my
you don't
God.
need to do this procedure. These are the protocols. This is on paper. This is what we say, means that you need a procedure. And what you're saying, your criteria doesn't meet these guidelines. And these guidelines should be enough for me as a gynecologist to judge this. And the vascular surgeons say,
Terrible. That's terrible.
absolutely not. Absolutely not. And so it should not be that way. It should be vascular specialist to vascular specialist. And
It's
they
all about
should
money.
have some trust in these patients. If these patients are having symptoms and these patients are suffering, they need to let the doctors do what they think, put the power back in the hands of the doctors. And there's a mission of one of our board members at the Global P.A.D. Association, Dr. Anita Dua from Boston. She's at Mass General, Harvard grad. She was a presidential scholar as well. And she is on a mission to put more doctors in office. She said the only way that we're going to end up making patients a priority again is if we get doctors in office. And so she has started a 501c3 to raise money to help the campaigns of doctors to get into office from the local level clear up to the national level.
Oh, what an inspiring story from you! But I just can't. It's all money driven. It just freaking pisses me off. Oh, thank you, Kim.
And I had a procedure and it was denied, and that doctor had to go back and he said, I have learned to reword what I put in there because I've learned what this insurance company wants me to say and what this insurance is. What Kim told Kimmy earlier. If you go to an insurance and say all these wonderful things, but you don't mention it, wakes me up every night. Then they don't. Then that word CLI sometimes means more than just saying I have issues, critical limb ischemia, and sometimes we have to. I don't want to say exacerbate our condition, but make them aware that I can't sleep at night because my leg hurts and it wakes me up, or I'm hanging my leg off the bed trying to sleep, sitting straight up.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's just,
Okay.
it drives me crazy. And we kind of got off topic for walking. I mean, still I tell people walking is the best medicine. The only, time I say, whoa, is, if there are wounds, if there's rest pain, you don't wait. You need a date. You need to get that taken care of because critical limb ischemia is no joke. Time is tissue. And when you're at that stage, tissue is dying. Nerves are dying in that time frame. And that's what these insurance companies don't understand. I've had patients wait for weeks. They call our hotline in the middle of the night, pacing back and forth. My grandfather literally was forced to pace at 4, 5 o'clock in the morning. Every morning he was getting up for weeks and weeks and weeks, pacing out on the driveway. And the only reason he ended up getting treated was because my uncle, my great uncle, his brother-in-law, ended up seeing him. He was a doctor. He was a primary care doctor. And he was on his way to work that morning. And he just happened to take a wrong turn and ended up driving by his house. I think it was divine intervention, and saw him pacing the driveway at like 4 o'clock in the morning. And he went over and he said, "What's going on, Ernie?" And he says, "Yeah, I don't know. Every time I lay down, my legs start bothering me. I get, Charlie horses." And he said, "Why don't you sit down for a second? Let me check your foot pulses." And he took his stethoscope and he checked his feet and said, "Hey, get in the car. I'm taking you to the emergency room now." He ended up with a graft. His aorta and his iliacs were blocked, fully blocked.
Mm.
And at that time, they didn't do an aortobifemoral bypass. What they did was they replaced the arteries with grafts. And ultimately, those grafts got infected and he passed away. But that was quite a few years ago. New technology is far surpasses what he had, at the time. But I say this because it's no joke. When you wonder why I fight so hard and why I'm literally on the front lines, starts with my grandfather. No one
So
should have to suffer. No one should have to die.
in the very beginning, I don't need 1,000. In the very, very beginning with my primary doctor, I don't need $1,000 IVUS. I need 2 fingers, and every doctor has his stethoscope. I need to be able to say, doctor, I'm going to take my shoes off. I'm going to take my socks off, check my pulses. And it's 2 fingers or a stethoscope to start that process, isn't it? How many of us have? How many times do we? Yeah, we all. But how many times has your primary doctor checked your feet?
Oh, take off your socks. Take off your socks at your primary care doctor's appointments, at your vascular appointments. Always take off your socks, put them up on the table and wiggle your toes. Hello, I'm here. Touch my feet. Serious.
They don't
Okay,
have to check the.
my doctor would just think I was being weird if I stuck my toes in her face. But anyway, just kidding. But no, I've never had mine checked. I've never even met my vascular surgeon. He's only talked to me on the phone.
Marilyn, are you serious? Where are you again?
I'm in Edmonton. I've never met him.
Edmonton, Canada?
Yeah. Yeah. Didn't you tell me there was somebody in Vancouver as well? I know you said Sunnybrook, but didn't you say Vancouver?
I know that there's a limb salvage center somewhere over there. At least there's a there are doctors that's a vascular surgery group over there in Vancouver.
Okay.
But what was
Well,
interesting is we had a patient there and they sent her back home to Sunnybrook for an advanced procedure because Dr. Casilla and Dr. Papilla with Sunnybrook have a full-fledged limb salvage program.
and do they do oh God, what thing you just told me? It doesn't use a lot of contrast.
I don't know if
Severa.
I'm sure they have the options of at least CO2, and they would probably have external ultrasound as well that can help guide them.
Okay.
I'm
And do you ever
seeing
talk to
Dr.
them?
Papilla. What?
Okay.
I'm seeing him in April.
Well, ask him if he takes patients from Alberta.
Well, and I do have a diagnostic specialist that's over there that does really great work for P.A.D, just diagnostics. I can find him for you and get his name, and maybe he has a couple suggestions over in that area. I
What
know that
area
they're
are you
in
talking about?
Calgary. In
Oh,
Calgary,
okay.
there is a limb salvage group. I'm not sure that they go to the extent of treating the vessels below the knee as they do in Sunnybrook. But that was a couple of years ago, the last I was in contact with them. So that's worth checking. I can find out the name unless you have it.
No,
But I
I
can find
don't.
out and give it to you. It's something
Thanks, Kim.
limb salvage
Right.
in Calgary.
It would be nice to actually even meet somebody because he just said to me, unless you're having, other symptoms, we don't do that, and he won't do any duplex ultrasound. He just wants to do ABIs. And I'm not saying he's wrong. I don't know, but I don't know. This is what I feel like. I feel like if I ever get sort of more critical and I need something done, I don't even know what he does. When I asked him questions, even about my my results, he said, "Well, that's why I don't like patients to look at their results because they ask me questions." So anyway,
Well,
It's time to find a new doctor.
if you can. Canada is a little fickle about that kind of thing. They assign you a doctor, and you don't always,
you can ask.
get the,
You could
you
ask
have to.
for a particular one, but you could ask. And in the beginning, when your primary doctor says, "Well, I'm going to get you to see someone," you'd say, "Well, could I see this person?" And she would put a referral for that person, probably. But at the time, I didn't know any names. It was my respirologist who referred me. I didn't even have my primary care. My respirologist, like I told you, follows me every year, even though he doesn't have to. And he asks me about my entire health. I can't even understand. He's so awesome. Anyway, that's all. Thank you, Kim.
Yeah, just go ahead, and there's my dogs in the background. You just go ahead and send me a note, and I can find you the name of that center. I just have to get into my database, and I can get you, because I know they have, it should be a full-fledged limb salvage center. But limb salvage, as you know, can mean something different in different areas. We even had a doctor try to get into our group recently, And I asked them, are you a limb salvage doctor? And he said, yes. And I said, okay, how do you define limb salvage? And he said, well, just yesterday I did a femoral to tibial bypass, and I've done femoral to DP, meaning the dorsalis pedis. He could do a bypass there. And I said, well, what if the patient is, has what I consider type 2 PAD, which is where it's mainly seen in diabetics and chronic kidney disease patients, where you're asymptomatic for the most part, clear up until those small vessels below the knee and into the foot are blocked up, and you're a toe step away from amputation, and you're not a surgical candidate. He said, well, the best thing for them is amputation. I was like, okay, you are not a limb salvage doctor. You
See you
should not
later.
use limb salvage. Yep. Oh,
Yeah, and
It's even
period.
sorry, it's even worse on the east coast of Canada. I mean, where I am in New Brunswick, there's one vascular doctor, and my podiatrist has even taken on vascular patients to take the load off the vascular doctor. It's crazy that there's just one.
I did get word. So where's Montreal? Montreal. There is a great doc. What?
It's in Quebec.
in Quebec.
Okay. Yeah, we do have a limb salvage doctor there.
Oh, that's
which
good
is
to know.
great.
Not that I need one, but I mean, it's good to know that there's one.
And that's the point I was getting. That's the point I was getting at too. Is like when I need something, I don't want to be scrambling around and then I don't know. Time's a wasting. But if there's one in Calgary, it's a simple 3-hour drive for me or a half-hour plane ride. It wouldn't be difficult at all. If I knew there was someone there that was not just limb salvage, but the proper limb salvage that would go below the knee. Like I can't call them up. Hey, if you guys go below the knee, I wouldn't know who they'd talk to.
Okay, here it is. Dr. Kareem Manji is a podiatrist, clinical assistant professor. He is the director of the ZIVOT, ZIVOT Limb Preservation Center at the University of Calgary, Cummings School of Medicine, Calgary, Alberta.
I'm walking right now in Rotary Park in Lake Havasu, so I don't have a way to write that down right now.
ZIVOT, ZIVOT, and you can easily Google that. And they do have a limb salvage center there. So if you just need a second opinion and want to get established, that would just take a referral from your primary care to go there. And just to say you need to establish. And I know they do advanced testing there as well.
Now that you mention it, I think you know Monique from Alberta.
Yes, I do.
I think she may go there.
She does.
Okay. She may know that answer too. And she is on my on my Facebook, so I could send her a message and ask her. Thank you for getting me thinking about that. Thank you very much.
Well, I would we will go offline and we're going to end this call, and then I will talk to you more about that in a moment. But I think that we'll reconvene next week. Everyone, make sure you like the video, subscribe to our channel. We have a lot going on. I have doctors that are messaging me right now, and folks from Capitol Hill telling me in Messenger, and then I want to help Marilyn in a second. So we're going to end this. It was fun chit-chatting. Make sure you email us at info@padhelp.org to join our live discussion and be a part of this conversation. You can also still just watch us on YouTube and go in the comments section and share your insight, share your experience as well.
Get out and walk.
Perfect. Well said. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye,
Thank
everybody.
you.
Hey.